So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our seminar, which is about reading as a vital skill. And we will talk about the reasons behind its importance for learning a new language and also the potential benefits of the reading skill. And tonight, Associate Professor Oya TUNABOYLU will be with us. But before she starts, I would like to tell you about her background. So Oya TUNABOYLU completed her bachelor's degree in the first place in the Department of English Language Teaching at Atatürk University in 1990. And in the same year, she started working as a research assistant in the academy. She has completed her first master's degree at the same university in the field of English theater. And in 1995, she has earned a YÖK scholarship and been to Ohio State University and has completed her second master's degree and PhD on TESOL. After returning to Turkey, she has worked at Atatürk and Gazi universities. And between 2005 and 2011, she worked as head of School of Foreign Languages department. And during her time working as a head of department, she has been awarded with European Language Label Award for 2 consecutive years with 2 projects she was leading on. And currently she works at Süleyman Demirel University at Faculty of Education in the Department of English Language Teaching as a lecturer. Her fields of study are professional development and multidisciplinary in language teaching. So Oya Hocam, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Ida. Thanks a lot for the nice introduction. And good evening, everyone. It is great pleasure for me because your director, Professor Gök, is my colleague, is also my friend from the same university we graduated, Atatürk University. So I'm honored to be here with you, and I'd like to thank at the very beginning of my talk to all of you guys that you are spending the rest of your time with me. Hopefully it's going to be some entertaining, informative kind of session. I'm going to try my best, but be cautious that we might get disconnected after 40 minutes. So time is money and we should just start very early. And I'm just seeing here, among the participants, some familiar faces. Serkan is there. Yes, Merve is there. And some other people are not using their videos. The videos are not on. But I know that, Sercan Hocam, it is a session for your teaching staff and also preparatory school students, School of Foreign Languages at Gelişim University.
That's right.
For this very reason, I would like to just tell you guys that the content of my presentation is truly related to not academic people or scholars or something, relying on literature, on reading, but a little bit practical, geared toward your students' needs and teaching staff's needs and blah, blah. Okay, let me share. If you just assign me co-host, I'd like to just share my screen. The title reads like this: Reading as a Vital Skill in Foreign Language Learning Process or something. And everybody just talked about my actual Eda introduced me, currently working as an associate professor at Süleyman Demirel University, School of Education, English Language Teaching Department. Our students, unlike your students, are prospective English language teachers. So let's see. Let me share the outline of my presentation. I'm going to be just starting a little bit brief account of language skills. As I told you before at the very beginning, it's not going to be that scholarly presentation. I'm highlighting this one, not scholarly think, but practical ideas and everything. And I want to share with you guys general statistics about reading, and some facts related to reading as a skill in foreign language education. And it is the fourth item is the legitimate reasons why reading is a vital skill. I'm going to be tapping on, and I'm going to be not raising arguments, but I'm going to be presenting and displaying why it is considered to be a vital skill apart from the other 3, and introducing you guys general reading strategies and the characteristics of good Good readers, characteristics. Who is a good reader? You know, what makes up the essence of good readers? Then I'm going to be ending up my presentation recommendation, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys my personal account as a reader. And I'm going to take you guys back to my college years and how I started reading and how I did. And your Shahinoja knows about me. Anyway, okay, let's start. Let's get started. Welcome aboard. My friends, when we are talking about language teaching learning process, we are just coming up with four major language skills. Take this part as crash course 101 on skills 101, some kind of thing. As you can see here, we have listening, speaking, and reading, writing. These two clusters are very important, and in the next slide, I'm going to be tapping on in detail. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. We do have four language skills in a foreign language learning process. Nowadays, though, people are talking, Eda, the presence of the fifth skill. Do you have any idea what is it? Fifth skill. Merve, do you have any idea what might be the fifth skill that people are talking about? Do you have any idea?
I don't have any idea. I don't have any
You don't
idea.
have any idea? Serkan, do you have any idea? I'm trying my best, as you can see, to make it interactive. I don't like it. Okay, my friends, the fifth skill that people are talking and emphasizing is the cultural competence. And people just call it ICC, intercultural competence. And apart from all these four skills, cultural competence or culture as a skill is the largest one and is the most difficult to attain, to reach some kind of success. Let's move on to another slide. Then we do have another categorization when we're talking about skills. People are putting down receptive skills on the one side and productive skills. Looking at this one, how would you categorize four skills in the previous slide? How, under receptive skills, which two skills would you put? Do you have any idea? Your
Listening.
I'm asking your students, your brilliant prep school students. Brilliant prep school students. Receptive skills on the one side and productive skills on the other side. Does anybody have any idea?
I have an idea. Can I say it?
Please go ahead and just say it.
Okay,
Who are you?
I'm Zeynep Ayaz. I was in TÜBİTAK's project.
Aha!
And yes.
Yes, Zeynep, such a week, such a week.
Yes.
It has started last Saturday and still going on for me.
Yeah, and I didn't want to miss your this session, and then I just attended it. So
Thank you.
Receptive skills are listening and reading, and productive skills are speaking and writing, because as we understand the name productive, in writing and speaking we produce new things, new ideas.
Yes.
But receptive skills, on the other hand, it's about understanding, comprehension.
My God, you know what? I'm gonna just putting this emoji. Where is it? Let me just go through and find it. I can't see it. Anyway, I'm just doing this one. Zeynep.
Thank you.
Zeynep is one of the participants actually attended our session. Last week we started, initiated actually TÜBİTAK project, and we did the training. And Zeynep, which university, which ELT you were?
I'm from Kocaeli University, third grade.
I do remember. Thank you very much for your contribution. Okay.
My pleasure.
Like Zeynep mentioned now, receptive skills is related to receiving information and processing information in our mind. It usually occurs in our mind. Actually, everything just occurs in our mind and brain. But when we are talking about reading and listening, they are truly linked with, associated with receiving information. We are receiving. But when we take a look at productive skills, they are related to production. Adı da öyle zaten. As the name suggests, producing. When you are speaking, for instance, I'm now speaking and I am producing sounds, articulating sounds and trying to make meaning out of using vocal words, sounds, phonemes, phonetic something. Okay. These are productive skills. At this point, you can just ask this one. Hocam ya, you clustered under two categories. You did this one. Which skills are the most difficult ones to produce? What do you think about this one? Which skills stay there as difficult ones compared to the other cluster? Maybe you can just think that productive skills, for instance, speaking, just writing. When you're writing, you're going to be just using your knowledge, background knowledge. You're going to be adding and utilizing some new knowledge, and you are creating a text from scratch. Doğru mu Selcan Hocam? From scratch, you are doing. When you are reading, though, you are receiving the ideas, you are storing the ideas in your mind and trying later on to comprehend, to make meaning by tapping on your background knowledge, whereas we are going to be seen in the other slides. I want to share, and I like when I'm just doing any kind of presentation, I do like giving out some or sharing with the audience, with the participants, some kind of statistical data kind of thing. When you look at some of the items here I put down, you can easily understand it is one major skill that we should just have. We should just refer to, actually. Let's take a look at the first one. Reading can help mental health in old age by up to 32%. Wow, it's a lot. For this very reason, I think psychiatrists recommend all elderly people to learn something new. How can you learn? Just by attending a course, by reading a book, by doing some other things. Again, the other one, reading fiction has potential. Arkadaşlar, it is real very important. Reading fiction, if you're going to be reading fiction, fictitious literary pieces, it's going to help you improve your decision-making processes. Merve, you know what? It is very important. Decision-making processes. Merve oradan öyle bir bakıyor ki bana. Okay. Reading to kids, arkadaşlar, activates certain regions in brain. These are all the statistical data drawn from some scientific research in relation to reading. Children who read 20 minutes a day are exposed to almost 2 million words per year. Here, I want to tap on the connection between reading and vocabulary. They go together because when we are reading any kind of text, let me just show you this one. Look, it is one of the course books that I'm using in my courses. It is all about the words. The words are getting together to create a text, a written text, and then we are reading it. So it is very understandable. It makes sense that 20 minutes per day, if kids read, they're going to be exposed to 2 million words. Arkadaşlar, it's not boru. It is something very, very important because the kids cannot get exposed to that rich vocabulary storage when they are watching or when they are writing, when they are listening, when they are speaking. Only reading helps them to get exposure to this. Children, 83% of them, who are read aloud are likely to grow some kind of love toward reading. Hani diyoruz ya biz, when we get together, we're just saying that çocuklarınıza just please read them stories. Anneler, babalar, please read stories aloud to your kids. Why? It is just because of this. It makes sense, a lot of sense. When we are talking with our friends or some other people, oh yeah, my kids don't like reading. Don't like reading. Just drawn from the statistical data, we can just conclude that reading a lot, reading stories to our kids makes a lot of sense and helps them grow some kind of affection to reading as an activity. Bizim hep dediğimiz bu ya. Okumuyorlar falan diyoruz. Ama we should just read them. We should just read them. Reading for only 30 minutes per day can produce greater life satisfaction. Now, I want to ask this one. Just very honestly, how many of us, Sercan Hocam, how many of us are reading 30 minutes per day? Ama bu 30 minutes derken, I'm not talking about that you are reading some stuff there, just scrolling down on the computer. No, you're going to be just getting a book and you're going to be just reading. Actual reading is this one, printed material. Because I'm going to be just sharing with you another data. The difference between scrolling down reading, digital reading, as opposed to printed material reading.
Do magazines count?
Yeah, of course. If it is printed, hocam,
it is.
The gist is this one, printed material. Printed material is important.
After trying like a ebook for a while, I really come to appreciate the printed book and how comfortable it feels. So there's always this soft spot in my heart for the printed books. So I think they're quite beneficial.
Great. And I'm going to be talking about this one at the end of my presentation, actually. Just keep it in your mind. In the previous slide, we mentioned about some general facts, statistics about reading in general. Bu arada arkadaşlar, I just picked up because there's a very long list of the benefits of reading in general. I just picked down and I displayed just a couple. Let's take a look at in foreign language reading. Reading in foreign language for learners side. Bizim mevzuya geldik şimdi. Okay. Facts about reading in a foreign language. Vocabulary knowledge is important to comprehend a text. There's this Paul Nation guy who is an authority in the world when we are talking about vocabulary research studies on vocabulary attainment, recalling, any kind of work related to vocabulary, memory, and something. Nation states this one. If somebody wants to understand and comprehend a text written in a foreign language, I'm talking and underline this one. This person must know at least 80%, 85% of the vocabulary items embedded in a text. Arkadaşlar, you know what? This finding is a great finding in the sense that vocabulary is very, very important. If you want to comprehend a text and understand a text, according to nation studies, we should know at least 85% of the vocabulary items used in a text. It is huge. It is huge. I'm not going to be, of course, I don't have any time to talk about vocabulary teaching kind of thing, but vocabulary is important when we are talking about reading comprehension. And another finding is approximately 4,000 new words are added per year. When I look at this finding, I was just kind of shocked. Don't you think that? 4,000? God, it is too much, I think. Yes, but it is, as it is in every other area of our life, language is a living, not creature. I'm not going to be talking about this one, but it is dynamic. Languages are dynamic. Turkish, English, all other languages are dynamic. Why dynamic? They are living, and as they are living, they are getting enriched by some influx of loan vocabulary, new vocabulary, or so many other things. So again, we are just talking about vocabulary. Gördüğünüz gibi yine kelime. And Zeynep, last TÜBİTAK meeting, we mentioned about the fashionable, trendy words. Sadece fashion bizim kıyafetlerimizde yok. In the language, we do have dönem every year, every month diyemeyeceğim ama some trendy words.
Freak.
There are trendy words. Do you remember, Zeynep?
I remembered freak.
Yes.
Freaking. Yeah.
One of your friends was talking about, hocam dedi, her yerde dedi freaking var dedi. Freaking crazy. You know, this session is freaking crazy slow, for instance. We are adding going viral, for instance. Couple of years ago, we haven't heard about this word, but now it is there. Ha arkadaşlar, Merveciğim, konuyu buraya getiriyorum şimdi. Language is living, English is living, and I'm not sure about 4,000 words. I'm really suspicious about this one. You know, I'm just a little bit, thinking about this one. But language is living, and every now and then we are having new vocabulary item added to it. How can we, cope with, or how can we understand or decipher, make meaning out of a text if you don't follow these words? Bu kelimeleri öğrenmezsen nereden çıkaracaksın? How can you make meaning out of a text? It is important. Another one, which is really very important and very meaningful and connected to understanding and comprehension out of a text, is a background information. We call it schemata. There are different types of schemata. Background information is important to make meaning out of a text. Maybe, Sercan Hocam, you are asking your students to do some kind of work on reading comprehension. Text.
Yeah.
According to the findings drawn from the studies, one finding is that the more students are familiar with the text, the better they do. Bingo. Background information. If you're asking them some kind of work, some kind of text, or some kind of exercises they are not familiar with in their own life, in their living life, then it's going to be difficult for them to make sense out of the text. Background information is important. I'm just coming this one. Arkadaşlar, lots of studies demeyeceğim ama couple of studies worked on, studied to find out the differences between digital reading, that's scrolling down, reading that you are doing on your laptop, on your smartphone, and everything, and on the other side, printed works, printed books. The finding is that, arkadaşlar, knowledge is quasi-permanent when you are reading through a printed text compared to scroll down items, scroll down digital readings. It means that if you are spending a lot of time in front of a computer, in front of a monitor, and if you are reading, sen şöyle diyebilirsin, ya hocam, I'm reading a lot of posts. Çok post okuyorum ben on my smartboard. I am reading a lot of influencer stories. Influencer storyleri okuyorum ben telefonda. Ama arkadaşlar, compared to the printed text, they are not that permanent in your brain. They are not that tangible. They are not permanent. So printed text reading is more beneficial compared to digital reading. It is one other thing. Okay. Why reading? After saying all these things, we can just move on to why reading is a vital skill. Vital. Arkadaşlar, first and about, it is the major reference of knowledge dissemination. If you look at around, before computer and everything, and still it is, and maybe you can just check around, especially some elder people, maybe middle-aged people, they would just go with, again, printed newspapers. Instead of reading digital newspapers, they would just go with this one. Actually, it is the major source of knowledge dissemination. We are learning from written material. Second one, which makes it vital also, again, it is available everywhere, every time. Newspapers, books, and digital, it is everywhere. Maybe you remember Stephen Krashen, I+1, comprehensible input kind of thing. We are surrounded by a lot of materials which have been written down. It is available. It is there. We can easily reach them. And we can easily exploit them. From this perspective, we can say that reading is easy to reach, affordable, cheapest, arkadaşlar, cheapest way of owning or reaching any kind of source. When we are thinking all these items, all these factors, all these things, we can easily see why we are calling it a vital skill. It is somehow just starting foundational something. It is down at the bottom and you are putting the other things around. When I'm talking about this one, I want you guys to go back to the second slide, I think. Orada bir şey atladım, onu söylemek isterim. Listening, speaking, reading, writing demiştik ya arkadaşlar. These two clusters are interrelated. When I was in the States, I had this course, Reading, Writing Connections diye bir şey arkadaşlar. First, we read, okay, fill up our brain. Then, when we are done, when we are full, our brain is full, we vomit, let's say. We put everything on the paper. Then at times, it becomes writing. Reading, writing together. These are interrelated. These two skills are interrelated. Likewise, listen. Now you're listening to me because you're going to be asking me some questions. Okay, you're listening to me, then you're going to just blurt out your questions. First listening, then speaking. Yani hepsinin sırası var. First, we will just read, then write. It goes like this. So, reading is a vital skill. It is there, available, cheapest way, and it is the beginning of knowledge dissemination. Okay. I'm moving on. Let's take a look at now general reading strategies. Okay. These are very general reading strategies that we are consciously, sometimes unconsciously employing when we are reading a text. But what is really very important, again, using our prior knowledge, previewing, okay, when your teacher asks you about, for instance, Olympic Games, a text on Olympic Games, sen otomatikle ne düşünürsün? In Turkey or in different country, the games that we are doing. If you have any kind of prior knowledge, it's going to be easier for you to connect the topics together. It is general reading strategies. Number one, predicting. Another strategy that as a reader, you can just employ. You can just recall, çağırabilirsiniz kendinize. Predicting, Skim and scanning, identifying the main idea in summarization, questioning, making inferences. Wow. Making inferences is a big process, really. If you are able to make inferences out of a text, out of something that you listen, it means that, you are learning. You start to learn inference. bir çıkarsamalar yapıyorsun. Yani artık o hale gelmişsin demektir. Arkadaşlar, the last one, visualizing. Again, one study found that the kids, those students who can visualize the text, what is written down in a text, are better readers. Aranızda bilen var mı arkadaşlar? NLP. Are you familiar with NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming? It is not a method, it is nothing. NLP diye geçiyor. One technique that they are adapting is this one, visualizing. You're closing your eyes and you are visualizing, what kind of place, what kind of feeling it is. When you are visualizing, we can just also connect this one to Vygotskian internal speech. Maybe you remember from your linguistics books or somewhere, internal speech. When we are learning something, we start to talk to ourselves. I mean, something is just going on in our brain. Yani everything is interrelated with some complicated processes actually that occur in our minds. Okay. Who are good readers? Could you please take a look at the list? It is a very long list. And I'm going to be just asking you guys how many of these items you possess. How many of these items from the list you possess. It shows how a good reader you are actually. Good readers'lar bunu yapıyor arkadaşlar. Biz neyi yapıyoruz? We should just ask ourselves. They are interacting with text. İçli dışlı oluyorlar. Bakın, interacting with text. Have goals for reading. Arkadaşlar, my friends, I underline this one. Have goals. Before reading a text, before reading anything, set up a goal. Ben bunun için okuyorum. Çünkü time is money. Time is precious. And you should just set up your goal somewhere. You can just save up your time also because there are lots of other things that you need to read actually. Yani o kadar çok okunacak şey var ki economic yapmamız lazım. Evaluate text for important ideas. Note structure of text before reading. Make predictions, construct, revise, and question. The word here, arkadaşlar, question. What does it echo in your mind? Zeynep, are you still there? What does the word question echo in your mind? Question. Question as they read. Question. Arkadaşlar, it takes us to the word 21st century skill, critical thinking. Critical thinking. Yani çok güzel değil mi? Bağlantı, synthesizing. You are just taking up this one and connecting with other things. Questioning as they read. Bu neden böyle? Yazar bunu neden yazdı böyle? Bu neden burada? Questioning. It is important. Monitor their understanding as they read. Monitor. Did I understand this one? Is it this one? Is it like this? You are also checking your understanding. Read different kinds of text differently. There are genres. Narrative textler var biliyorsunuz. Scientific textler var. Lots of different types of texts. You should make a blend of different types of texts. If you ask me, I like reading biographies, for instance, myself. I like reading biographies of big figures whose life I wonder. The last one I read, for instance, was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs'ın his tarihini okudum. Autobiographisini okumuştum. I like reading, but they are just saying that good readers are those one who can blend, who can make, şöyle portfolyo yapacaksın ortaya. Ortaya karışık, little in the middle gibi bir şey. Yes, little in the middle. Okay, I'm not going to be, you can just take a look at this one, not going to be going through only a couple of them I want to emphasize. Synthesize information here. The word synthesize again takes us to 21st century skills, higher order thinking skills, analysis, synthesis, critical thinking, problem solving. These are all the skills that 21st century teachers and learners and students should or are expected to possess. Yes, problem solving. It's very important also. Enjoy and appreciate literature. Arkadaşlar, last weekend we had this TÜBİTAK project on literature, teaching literature via Web2 tools, digital tools diye named. There we already just talked about and also posited appreciation of literature. Literature, why? Because it is very rich in every sense. It is rich in culture. It is an authentic text. Authenticity is important. And you can find a lot of different things. Let's move on. Okay, come on.
I love to see my major being appreciated in this project, in this presentation. I'm very pleased.
Yeah. Sercan, did you graduate from ELL, English Language and Literature Department?
Yes, I've done my MA and BA on literature, English literature.
Yes, I would like to just share with you one of our studies, recent studies finding, arkadaşlar. We cannot generalize, of course, beyond the scope, beyond the population cohort that we included in the study, but Semin Hoca Kazazoğlu Hoca ile birlikte we conduct a study, and at the end of the study we found out this one, ELL students, Sercan, English Language and Literature students are more satisfied with their undergraduate education compared to ELT students.
Well, I can confirm that I'm very satisfied with my education.
Yes.
So that's my input.
Why do you think, Sercan? You don't know, because in the discussion part we discussed this one and we found out and we raised some arguments there. But why do you think it is like this? ELT students, ELL students. Yes?
I think literature is first and foremost is an art form, and anyone who deals with like art is happy in general. So that's like a very short and to the point answer from me.
Yes. We decided, actually, we argued that with my co-author, that the ELL curriculum is very rich with literature, and underneath you are going through a lot of higher order thinking skills.
Oh, yeah.
Every one ELL student, average, is graduating school after reading 20 some pieces of literature, pieces of literary works.
And read them then critically. So that's the key part.
Analysis, synthesis, critiquing. These are all higher order thinking skills. And when you work on, Sercan, on your brain, it makes you happy. When you find out new connections, when you find out new dimensions to other fields, synthesizing something. Because when you're reading, for instance, Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, the Virginia Woolf psychological novel examples, when you are just thinking about diyorsun, böyle diyorsun, moments are huge. Moments are huge. And it makes you feel more satisfied with your education, because Sercan, it is challenging also. Yani challenging'i nereye götüreceğim ben şimdi? I+1 comprehensible input. Steve Krashen demiş. Steven Krashen ne diyor? Çok basit bir şey. You are gonna be teaching your students not at their level, but bir tık diyoruz ya biz, one or two, more, or just more proficient, just level you will be teaching. Throughout your education, ELL students are exposed to this kind of education. Siz buna exposedsunuz.
Yeah, I was confused the whole time, but it was fun.
Yes, that's it. Perplexing,
Yeah.
Bu surprising, bunlar zaten aha moment. Bu discover ediyorsun her seferinde. In a new book, Atıyorum Doll's House. Ibsen'in Doll's House'unu işliyorsun mesela, değil mi? Doll's House'da bir şey oluyor. Or Waiting for Godot, Samuel Beckett.
Yeah.
You are just all these moments. Anyway,
it's like you're deconstructing your brain to constructing it anew, and it is like a phoenix rising from its ashes.
Piecing it together, you are thinking about mythological background, you are thinking
history and so
background
on.
and everything. So, nereden nereye geldik? Bak, reading, but literature is important. Literature. Ama bu neden gitmiyor? Benim bir dakika. Now, I'm going to be asking you, after, given this layout of everything demeyeceğim ama general things related to reading, now maybe your students, Sercan Hocam, might be asking this one. Hocam ya, good reader characteristic'ten bahsettiniz, facts verdiniz, statistics you shared, but what should we do? What should we do? How can we improve our reading skills? What can we do as learners that we can exploit both reading and also learn the language? Buraya geldik. Arkadaşlar, Steve Krashen many years ago just came up with this idea and proposed something he called pleasure reading. Zevkini okuma diyelim artık. Yani the mentality is very simple. You're gonna pick one item and you're gonna be reading this one. Ama bak, what you are interested in, what you find pleasurable reading. It is not mandated. It is not top-down approach. Birisi sana söylemeyecek. You will just pick up this book according to your pleasures, according to your preferences, actually, and you will just, öyle diyor. Steve Krashen just says this one. Only 20 minutes is enough diyor ya. Intense reading per day. 20 minutes is enough. Here, he is just self-selected. Bakın, self-selected voluntary. Zaten buradaki kilit iki kelime bu. Self-selected, you're going to be choosing. Nobody will dictate you. You will just go, pick up this book, the library, and read it. No. It is not. I will go, I will choose, and I will choose what I like. Bunu derken şunu bilmesi lazım öğrencilerinizin. They should know what kind of text or what kind of books they like reading. Bir de taste'ini bilmesi lazım, değil mi? Gusto, taste. What do you like? Maybe you remember 5 minutes ago I was talking about my personal thing that I like reading biographies dedim ya ben. Ben biliyorum mesela biographies along with some other things. I like reading new scientific breakthrough things. I like inventions kind of thing. Really, I like reading these type of things and biographies. It's my preference. Anyway, self-selected volunteer reading is so pleasant that, şurada bunu paylaşmak isterim, that readers often report being addicted to it. Addicted, arkadaşlar. At the bottom of the slide, I wanted to relate this addiction, the word addiction, to very famous, in our century, very famous theory, flow theory. Most probably you have heard about this guy, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. A little bit having difficulty in pronouncing his last name, but Mihaly guy diyelim, a Russian-American psychologist. He came up with the idea, the psychology of optimal experience and the flow theory. Arkadaşlar, we can interpret, we can explain Krashen's pleasure reading in light of Mihalyi's flow theory. Because in the theory, he is arguing this one. Okay, there are two different types of something. One is enjoyment and pleasure. Once you are engaged in fully doing something, you enjoy it diyor arkadaşlar. Yani çok basit anlattım bunu size. Çok basit anlattım. If you want to be successful, if you want to be productive out of something, you should engage in fully about this thing. Kendini vereceksin, kaptıracaksın diyor adam. Flow, akış teorisi. Yani bu. You can, of course, bunu da böyle demiş olayım. Maybe you're going to be interested in and you can read further. Belki de araştırırsınız bunu. You can just read it further. Maybe we can just explain. Yes, Stephen Krashen's pleasure reading. Arkadaşlar, pleasure reading is important. Starting tonight, okay? Kendini, kafanızı şöyle between your hands, kafanızı ellerinizin altına alın. Ben nerede yanlış yaptım demeyin ama şöyle alın. What am I interested in reading? What attracts me? You know, what type of readings, what types of book interests me a lot, arouse my curiosity, kind of thing. Ask all these questions if you want to be a good reader. Then tomorrow, reading ne dedik? Cheapest dedik. Available dedik ya, her yerde isterseniz. Her yerde. Digital da olsun sizinki, tamam, printed. It doesn't have to be printed material. Just go there. Sports maybe, I don't know what you are interested in. Chess maybe, whatever. Or embroidery, oya sanatı, ne bileyim işte, neyse. Maybe painting you are interested in. Child raising, çocuk bakımı. There are lots of things that you are likely to be interested in. And tomorrow you can assign 20 minutes reading on this one. Şimdi bunu dedikten sonra, the last slide, Sercan'cığım. I want to talk about my personal experience, and I think that you're going to be making use of this one because I'm now 52. This account started 17 when I was 17 years old in 1986. Yani 86'te başlamış bir account. It is still going on. It is still going on. My students know about this one. Okay. Arkadaşlar, I always wanted to become an English language teacher, actually. And I went to college in Erzurum, Atatürk University, started. Atatürk University's main library is very rich, and still it is like this. And the largest library, one of the largest university libraries, I think, in Turkey. And there you can find all kinds of books in different languages. I started reading because I'm into also theater. Tiyatroyu da seviyordum. I was always just reading. I have been reading since that time, I can just say. I started 1986 ama sizle bir şey paylaşmak istiyorum. Arkadaşlar, here I put down reading with notebooks. Okay. Let me just show you this one. Arkadaşlar bakın, kişisel şeyimi, account'umu gösteriyorum. Bakın. Bu a very simple notebook. A very simple notebook. And I am using this notebook to take note of all the vocabulary items I come across, structures maybe, or ideas, some philosophies, some quotations, if you will. And you know what, arkadaşlar? I started keeping notebooks along with my logs diyorlar ya artık bunlara. Logs diyorlar ya. Reading logs diyelim istersen. Reading logs with each book that I was reading. Diyeceksiniz ki hocam ne oldu? So many things happened. I learned everything from my readings, arkadaşlar, to tell you the truth. I learned, still I do remember the words that I learned when I was 17 years old in 1986. 86. Hocam notebook'su tuttuk, tamam da. It's not going to stay there. I'm 52 and I'm a teacher trainer for over 30 years. 30 yıllık öğretmen eğitimcisiyim. I'm still keeping this notebook and Allah sizi inandırsın gençler. I do have, sometimes my daughter is just saying, anne ya, you're like a high school kid diyor bana. You are still keeping notebooks and everything. But I like it demeyeceğim de it is very helpful. And I like writing out. And I'm just, look, it is only one. I do have 4 more. 4 tane daha var arkadaşlar. One for quotations. I like quotations. Özlü sözleri çok severim. Çünkü neden biliyor musunuz? Life is short, hayat çok kısa. Time is money. Yaşa şey yok, vakit yok. One single quotation can tell us a lot of stories, hundreds of pages long stories. So I urge you, tomorrow, wake up, or tonight after the session, put your heads between your hands. Okay, what do I like reading? Deyin. Onunla bir başlayın, bir sorgulayın, question edin. Bu kadar dedik. And tomorrow, start reading. Reading for pleasure. Only 20 minutes. 20 minutes'le başlayın, o emin olun gelecek gerisi. Ama. When you are just reading, gidin böyle bir ucuz bir yollu bir defter alın. Defter alın lütfen. Just keep it. Deftere date edebilirsiniz, tarih yazabilirsiniz. Ben bazen yazıyorum da 5 tane defter tutuyorum çünkü her tarafım defterdir benim. Seviyorum yani. And you can keep the words of zillions of words and so many things. You can just keep a notebook. And I started writing up, my friends, some posts on my Instagram account. I like writing up. Ama I can't just write and I can produce so frequently. When muse, hani muse ne diyorlar Sercan hocam, muse, I can't just, when muse touches me, it doesn't touch me a lot. İlham
hocam, ilham.
İlham geldiğinde, I'm just writing down a couple of words and I enjoy it. And it is some kind of thing that it helps me to organize my thoughts, organize my feelings and something, yes. And reading and writing, these two go together. Listening and speaking go together. You have up to now listened to me, and I know that you do have some questions, and just go ahead and be on the stage. I'll be very happy to answer your questions. Yes, thank you.